after the Dallas, you'll know everything you need to know in those first 4 games. After today, they look like they could be at the upper echelon easily, right? One of the top 2, 3 for sure teams if they continue, especially if they beat Washington next week.
So the Packers hold that vaunted Lions offense under 250 yards. We talked Lombardi, we talked Lambeau, and we also talked about the future with LaFleur and Love.
Future's bright.
For Tony and Tracy and Gene, Jim Nance saying so long from Green Bay. Time for some bonus coverage. Let's send it out to Los Angeles. Kevin Harlan on the call.
So now the Houston Texans have 1 timeout left.
Time now to get more with Geico. Here's the Geico play of the day.
In Indianapolis, the coach Daniel Jones finds Michael Pittman Jr. for the 27-yard touchdown strike. Pittman beats the Dolphins' Storm Duck for the score. Pittman's 3rd career opening day TD, the first TD on opening day in 3 years for Danny Dimes, and his first with Indy.
For savings and service, get more with Geico. This is the State Farm postgame show.
Well, back here in Green Bay, folks, it was wall-to-wall domination on both sides of the ball. Jordan Love, no doubt about it. Michael Parsons and the Packers deliver an emphatic win over the Detroit Lions by the score of 27-13 as we welcome you back to Lambeau Field in the State Farm postgame show. Hello again, everyone. I'm James Brown, along with my guys, Coach Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, and Matt Ryan. Bill, I know, look, defensive guy, Hall of Fame coach. Vince would have been pleased with that performance defensively today.
Well, when you look at what they did, you're talking about 4 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, and I think one of the biggest plays in this game was the interception at the end of the first half that stopped that drive by the Detroit Lions. So, listen, they got after him. I think they've been hearing about it all off season. You know, the Detroit Lions winning 5 of the last 6 games, and they're the king of this division. And I think they made a statement today, just like the LA Chargers made a statement on Friday night. The Green Bay Packers did that today with Michael Parsons, with Sean Gary on the other side, with 1.5 sacks. The defense came to play.
Yeah, I think the defense certainly came to play, and the interior defensive line came to play. One of the things that we overlooked, kind of talking about this Micah Parsons trade, was going to be the loss of Kenny Clark and who was going to step up and fill that void, and the defense certainly did that today. And it started earlier. You mentioned the interception right here, you know, forcing that turnover before the half, but it's the pressure, collapsing the pocket, just making Jared uncomfortable the entire game, and even more of it, right? The effort, the strain, right here, Micah Parsons, the finish at the end to cap off his first sack as a Green Bay Packer. It was a special performance. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, of the Green Bay Packers, had these guys ready to play. And I got to give a shout out to these 4 interior defensive linemen. Yep. Colby Wooden, Devontae Wyatt, Nazir Stackhouse, and Carl Brooks. Yep. These guys stepped up, played really, really strong football, both against the run and the pass all evening long.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, and look at this offense. When it comes to teams going into the season, some are trying to forget who they were last year. Others are trying to recapture the magic from last season. And you look at the Packers last season, they were hot towards the end of the year. Jordan Love really started to heat up. I mean, the last 8 games, he has 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he's taking care of the ball, playing efficiently. In this offense, check him out. With the clean pocket, he can deliver the ball downfield to his pass catchers. Calm, the poise, and of course, being able to dot his guys exactly where they need the balls to be thrown. And then the running game is the perfect complement. Yeah, I mentioned Jordan Love and what he's been doing the last 8 games. In the last 9 games, going back to last year, Josh Jacobs has had a rushing TD and more in every single game. So what does this offense do when they step on the field? They give Jordan Love a clean pocket. Take care of the ball. Don't throw it away. And when need be, you can hand it off to that beast in the backfield, and that's just going to continue to open up the passing game because you got to.
And that beast would be
Josh Jacobs.
It's a nice preview and setup. You'll see why in a second. Go ahead. Okay.
And on the other side of that, when you're talking about that offense and picking up where they left off, this is the Detroit offense right now with the new coordinator. I didn't see the same creativity. Let's not panic after 1 game.
No, but it was noticeable, Coach.
I think you have to find out about who they are. And I think this corner has to get a feel for what he has to work with from the tools-wise, his weapon-wise. You don't see a lot of that same creativity that we saw last year. Last year, you sit there with Ben Johnson, who's now in Chicago. So it's going to take some time for him to get a feel for the offense, them to get a feel for him, even on the other side of the ball. Dan Campbell has to replace those two coordinators. And sometimes it takes a little while for that thing to gel. No reason to panic. 5 teams last year went to the playoffs when they lost opening day. So there's no time to panic, but they got to look in the mirror.
But, Coach, we were talking about that, right? And I get it. It's not easy to replace 2 guys who left for head coaching jobs. But there was something special about that Ben Johnson-led offense. It's not just about play calling. It's about the right plays being called at the right time, and then also setting up the trick plays, almost pulling in the defense into your own tendencies so you can beat them in other plays. We didn't see that same type of rhythm and pacing from this offense today.
Play calling is an art.
It's an art.
It's an art.
You said that back there.
Play calling is an art, and sometimes it takes you sometimes to get a feel for it.
Well, look who we got walking into us over here. Josh Jacobs going to be on with us. I'm not sure. I guess he's coming in.
Hey, here's how, you know what?
What's up, fam?
We just got finished saying, Josh, as the guys were talking about you, they were talking about how potent this offense is, and if they needed to, they could hand the ball to the beast to get it done, and the beast got it done today.
Yeah, man. I mean, we know they was going to try to come in and, stop the run. That's all they was talking about all week. We believed in the guys. I told the receivers, take it personally. So we came out, and they handled business.
Looking back at the last 8 games, going back to last season, you've had a rushing TD in each game. What is it about this offense and you at this point in your career that is working well for you and also that offensive line in front of you?
It's just being resilient. It's a lot of plays that, might not go your way, but just keep putting your foot forward and keep grinding. And I feel like all my life, man, I've been having to grind. And I try to come in and, have that mentality for the guys and just tell them keep playing and everything will play out how it needs to.
All right, Josh, I'm going to ask you to put on your analyst hat right here. We got the monitor right over here. But if you could take us through your touchdown run from earlier today, they're going to cue that up. What are you thinking right here?
So what's crazy is last year at Detroit, we had the same exact run. It played out the same exact way.
Really?
We got a touchdown. So, I knew when I hit it, I was like, hey, they ain't lined up right. They were slow to get up off the ball. I knew I was going to score.
Hey, talk about the job your offensive line did today. Going against that front 7. These guys came out and played. Pass protection was excellent. The run game was excellent. Talk about the offensive line.
Yeah, man. A lot of guys played today, too. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but everybody stepped up. The guys, we're young. We got a different group, but everybody played hard, man. And I think that's the thing that I respect the most.
You talk about, Josh, you're in the locker room, so you guys are talking about this year. When you got and acquired Micah Parsons, what did that do to the locker room? What did it do to the team?
Man, it let the guys know that, this organization is all in and winning right now. And I think that's something that's very important, to the morale of the guys. Especially, working your butt off every offseason, coming in ready to play, and then you add a guy that's so dynamic like, Micah, to that defense that's already dynamic. The sky's the limit.
You came in from the Raiders, so you know what it's like, right? To come to a place like this. It's title time, the history of the Green Bay Packers, right?
Yeah, man. This is a historic franchise. It's one of the cornerstone franchises in the NFL. And as you see, man, these fans, it's nothing like it.
Yeah, shout out to the Packers fans. They're obviously lit. But we talked about how this offense found their rhythm last year. And people were talking about going down the stretch. This Packer team is legit. Now, the offseason comes along. They're not really mentioning your squad. If anything, they're talking about the Detroit Lions, the Kings of the North. If anybody in this division wants a shot at the crown, they got to take a shot at the throne, and the Lions are sitting on top of it. I know you guys don't like to pay attention to what we say on TV, but I know you heard it, though. Was there motivation in that?
I'm not going to say motivation. It's more so, playing them guys and, the 2 losses last year, it's a lot we did that we felt like we hurt ourselves on, whether it was penalties or it was drops or, missed plays, missed protections or whatever. So we knew, man, if we don't beat ourselves, we're going to be in this game and we're going to have a good game. So that was more the thing. Obviously, we don't like them guys, but, trying to come in and, play good football.
No, I'm not trying to give anybody any bulletin board material. But was this a statement today?
This is the first game in Lambeau, home game in Lambeau, season opener. How long?
We had a division champs.
Come on, man. We had to make sure, we put on the show. But, we trying to set the standard of what our team is going to look like this year, and we trying to uphold that standard.
Put on a show you did. Tell me about your quarterback, Jordan Love. Moving into his 3rd season as a starter. I always think, as a quarterback, that's where you make your biggest jump. What have you seen for growth and development in Jordan?
First off, man, I don't think people put enough respect on how good of a player he really is. I don't think that people really understand like the looks that he puts us in, his arm talent and how smart of a football player he is. And I tell him that before the game. I said, man, let the world know who you are. You want to win. And we believe in him, man. We have the utmost, respect for him, and he's the leader of our team. So we love him.
Let me close it with this. Bill Cowher and I spend a lot of time talking about winning in any organization, football, business, or whatever. It starts at the top. You guys philosophically do things differently here. How would you express that to the public, what the Packers do differently?
Man, it's nothing like it, man. Honestly, man, everybody's bought in. Whether it's the trainers, whether it's the janitor cleaning up, like legit, like everybody is bought in. And everybody has that winning mindset. Everybody talks about it every day. It's something that's very known, so it's just different, man. You feel the energy, you feel the love from the fans, from the community. It's not a lot to do here, so it's nothing but football. I mean, and you feel that, you feel the love, and a lot of the guys just got to lock in. That's all you can do. So it's the perfect place for a guy that's either trying to improve his career or be something in the league to come and play.
So in the sports vernacular, we know that this is a compliment when the guy said, here comes the beast.
No doubt about it.
You are a leader, Josh. Keep
no doubt about it,
man.
Yes, sir.
Josh Jacobs of the Green Bay Packers. Hey, folks, we will step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, more of the post-game show continuing from here at Lambeau Field, along with my guys here at CBS Sports. Hey, folks, we've got a lot coming your way. Stick around. See you back right after this.
I'm Kevin Kenny, and I'm here dressed in my Sunday's best. We are counting down till music's most iconic night on CBS, the 2025 Video Music Awards. We're about to be joined by some of the biggest stars on the planet for what will surely be an unforgettable VMAs. Now, the show promises to be huge. How could it not be? We have performances from Sabrina Carpenter, Doja Cat, Post Malone, Jelly Roll, and Lady Gaga, and that is just the beginning. I didn't even mention tonight's Video Vanguard recipient, Miss Mariah Carey. We're also naming Ricky Martin as our MTV Latin icon. He's performing on the main stage tonight, and he is going to get the crowd on their feet. Now, personally, I'm excited for Busta Rhymes and Tate McRae to perform tonight. Now, they're doing separate sets, but honestly, maybe they should do a collab. Busta Tate? We'll see on that one. I'm here manifesting out here on the red carpet, and we're going to make history tonight. You don't want to miss it, I promise. It's the VMAs on CBS, hosted by the hip-hop legend himself, the one, the only, the incomparable LL Cool J. You don't want to miss it.
That's right, my man LL Cool J is hosting the VMAs. There is nothing like it. One of the biggest nights in all of TV. The VMAs, very unpredictable, with the biggest acts in the world doing their thing. Make sure you stick around, only on CBS.
Now, I don't profess to keep my finger on the pulse of all that's going on currently. Did he say I'm out here manifesting on the carpet?
That's right. Manifestation, wow. JB.
Hey, that's like doing a commercial with Matt Ryan, and he's read Pete the Cat, the book. All right, folks. Hey, folks, a reminder that the action continues tonight in prime time. That's when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens visit Josh Allen and the Bill kickoff at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. That's over on NBC. Matt, you're up.
Let's go to the highlights.
Oh, yeah.
It's taking on the Rams out in L.A., and it's going to be Matthew Stafford taking it right here. Goes to his left and finds Davis Allen for the 13-yard touchdown. Beautiful throw right there. Matthew Stafford goes over 60,000 passing yards today. But right here, the beautiful peanut punch from Nate Lamb. Knocks the ball out. Covered by Braden.
Perfect timing.
Very good timing right there. Rams get the job done 14-9.
The Tennessee Titans, they're sitting there going to the Denver Broncos, and you're going to see right here.
Coach, we're on the Niners. That's me. My bad right here. We're looking on Brock Purdy scrambling around in the right corner. Jake Tongs comes up with a touchdown 4-yarder. San Francisco gets the job done in Seattle 17-13.
All right, guys.
Coach, you're right.
Tighten up.
If you hesitate, I'm taking it, man. I'll tell you right here, you see J.K. Dobbins 19 yards on this run. Denver defense sacked Cam Ward 6 times. Denver wins 20-12. But the big game was in New York. The New York Jets hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields trading places, and 4 touchdown passes by Aaron Rodgers, and Chris Boswell gets his career-long 60-yard field goal Bowl, and the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Jets 34-32.
Let's switch over to the Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns, and it's Joe Burrow right here on the goal line with the play fake to the right and finds in the end zone Noah Fant for the touchdown. The Bengals get a Week 1 win. Say that again. The Bengals get a Week 1 win.
They got a Week 1 win. All right, we got the Raiders and the Patriots. Old coaches, new places. That's Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll. They're hanging out. Those lost, but it's the Raiders. How about Ashton Jeanty, the rookie, getting his first NFL touchdown? Okay, Rook, I see you. The Raiders, they win that one, 20-13. High fives in the booth for the coaches. All right, Dolphins coach. You're thinking this is all Dolphins, right? No, it's all Colts. My guy Daniel Jones. DJ was cooking. Daniel Jones, 22 of 29, 272, 1 TD in the air, 2 on the ground. My man was balling.
Keep going.
We got the Panthers and the Jags. I got you. We got Brian Thomas Jr. with the end around. All receivers love it when we get a handoff. That's a 9-yard TD run. Jacksonville, after a rain delay, they got the dub, 26-10.
Deebo Samuel went all across coast from San Francisco to Washington to do what? Yeah, he'll run with that ball right there. He's got the rock, 19 yards, and that little reverse right there. And the Washington Commanders, they beat the New York Giants 21-6.
Buccaneers taking on the Falcons in Atlanta, and it's going to be Baker Mayfield finding Emeka Egbuka right down the middle. Beautiful throw right here from Baker Mayfield. Egbuka had 2 touchdowns on the day. Tampa Bay gets the job done in Atlanta, 23-20.
Arizona Cardinals went down to New Orleans Saints, and Kyler Murray had 2 touchdown passes. This was a pass. That's what they call a pass. It's a shovel pass right there to
that counts as a touchdown pass,
I know
Coach.
it does for quarterbacks. 20-13, big win for the Arizona Cardinals.
You know what? A lot of games we certainly can't pick apart, but let's zero in on the Aaron Rodgers performance. 4 touchdowns. Take it away.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. I thought he played well, but I think there's room for improvement. We saw a little bit of inaccuracy from him, but they got the job done. The story of this game was special teams. The special teams turnover and Chris Boswell knocking through the 60-yarder at the end of the game. I think it's a really good sign for Pittsburgh. You rush the ball for only 50 yards. You give up 180 yards of rushing, whatever it was, and you still find a way to win that football game. They're going to tighten that up. They're going to run the ball better as the year goes on. They're going to play better run defense, but a good win nonetheless for the Steelers.
And I know it's tough to look at the silver lining when you lose, and shout out to Aaron Rodgers as you see the numbers right there. The big 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions is what stands out. But on the flip side, Justin Fields, he looked good. He had his moments where he was throwing the ball. They opened it up for him, allowing him to use his legs, get outside the pocket. But he also did the traditional drop back, 3, 5-step, 7-step drops, and hitting on the money with his wide receivers. They just couldn't finish it out, but a really good showing by him. And speaking of quarterbacks, I got to give Daniel Jones a shout out. Listen, I don't know what it is about quarterbacks leaving New York. Look at Sam Darnold and what he did. And now all of a sudden, Daniel Jones has left New York with the Colts. Did they just unlock what Daniel Jones was supposed to be this whole time?
Listen, the only 3 quarterbacks that had their team score 30 points today, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, and Aaron Rodgers. They're all in new places.
And listen,
thought that
in the words of the great poet LL Cool J that's hosting the VMAs tonight, don't call it a comeback. All of a sudden, preparation meets opportunity. Anthony Richardson goes down with an injury, and Daniel Jones gets the nod to start. And let's just keep it real. There wasn't much excitement in the NFL world. Everybody was saying, oh, Daniel Jones is going to start for the Colts. And I'm pretty sure he heard all that. He went out there and he was comfortable in the pocket, controlling the offense, dropping dimes. Yeah. Like, this is the Daniel Jones that we've been waiting on, and it's good to see him balling.
Well, I mean, listen, it is week 1, and another overreaction should be done positively or negatively.
Yeah, but you got to show
both sides. Oh, no, well, no question about it. I think what he did, and like you said, he was productive. He looked aggressive. He looked comfortable.
He looked comfortable.
You know, and that's the biggest thing to me, and he looked confident. So, I mean, for a guy like that who's been around, he had this second opportunity. The same thing with Justin Fields. He did as well. Aaron Rodgers. So these were people that went to different places, different teams, their first year, their first game. And you know what? There's a positive sign moving forward.
Well, I think there's some other teams who can take positives away from losses this week, too. It's the Dallas Cowboys the other night going against the Philadelphia Eagles. You can feel okay about where you're at and where you're going forward. I think you mentioned the New York Jets today and what they did, but I also look at the Cleveland Browns. Right?
Yes.
They had Cincinnati Bengals on the rope. Everybody has written off the Cleveland Browns as being one of the worst teams in the league. They took them down to the wire, and they played tough today. I think that was a great job by Kevin Stefanski rallying that rally in that locker room and trying to take some positives as the season moved on.
They held the Cincinnati Bengals to under 200 yards of offense.
Yes.
Joe Burrow had like 113 yards throwing. So what they did defensively was very, very impressive.
All right, I want to throw a random line out here. When was the last time the Kansas City Chiefs were in last place in the AFC West?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because they are currently in last place in the AFC West. Okay. All other teams.
After 1 week, you're not counting them out, are you, Matt?
I'm not counting that out. I'm just saying, when was the last time they were there?
No. But you bring up a good point, though. If you
to
want
answer the question, it's week 6, 2021.
How about that? So here's the thing. If you want to be competitive within your division, you got to start fast. And you also got to punch the best team in your division in the mouth.
And who did that
make sure
tonight?
Xerxes tastes blood. And all of a sudden, you see KC having to deal with a week 1 loss and everybody else getting a victory. There's confidence within the
Nate, did you go there? Xerxes?
Yes.
That's
movie 300.
Cobwebs.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Also a historically significant figure. Go ahead, Bill.
I think week 1, it's very telling. It's very revealing a lot to your football team. You've not seen these guys play 4 quarters, and for some of these guys, they were winded today. This is the first time they've played 4 quarters and played a whole football game. They're going to be sore tomorrow. So it reveals a lot about your football team, and I think from right now, you kind of have to take it, dissect it, not overreact to some things, but all of a sudden you have to go keep an eye on some things because it may be worse than you think it is. So it's very much these first month of getting a feel for who the identity and what the identity of your football team is going to be.
I think one of the other overarching themes that we saw today was across the board, it seemed to me that there was poor offensive line play.
Yeah.
Across the board. The teams that were very good, the Green Bay Packers, they came out and dominated.
Yeah.
They ran the football. The New York Jets offensive line, I thought, played pretty good in the run game, rushing the football. Across the board, I think that's an area that we're going to see cleaned up from week 1 to week 2. This is the first time you're going through 4 quarters of a game. Offensive line play is all about continuity, timing, rhythm, playing with the guys next to you. I think we see a big jump from week 1 to week 2.
And the only thing I would say is, like, you talk about that, and we talked about the pressure of the Green Bay Packers. The interior 3 of the Detroit Lions are not the same 3 they had a year ago.
Correct.
So this offensive line from the Detroit Lions is different. So you talked about, they don't have Kenny Clark on the defense. They don't have TJ Slayton on that Green Bay Packer defense. Well, the Detroit Lions didn't have the interior 3 either. So I think that's a little bit of an area of concern because Jared Goff is a guy that needs to feel comfortable stepping up in that pocket.
That's for sure.
You know what? I know that I'm working with a very erudite group here. He's talking about Xerxes. He brings up a question. You know what? When was the last time that a Green Bay Packer player wore the number 1?
Oh,
wow.
That's what Michael Parsons is wearing right now. Number 1, 1926. That was by the player who also was the owner and coach, Curly. Hey, folks, back with more after this. That is Vince Lombardi there, though. Next Sunday, you can count on the Week 2 NFL on CBS Slate, reuniting division rivals. That's when Josh Allen and the Bills meet the Jets. It all begins at noon Eastern with us on the NFL Today. That's right here on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Well, they got it done well here. You know what? This is, in fact, the 3rd oldest franchise, but they've got the youngest roster out there. The Green Bay Packers, who got it done 27-13 over their division rival, the Detroit Lions. And after the game, it was our Tracy Wilson catching up with 2 of the stars of the game, quarterback Jordan Love and the recently acquired Micah
Limited snaps, but a huge impact. What was it like out there for you today?
I'm not going to lie, I was a little tired. The snap count was probably justified, but, overall, I thought we played really well. Some of these guys on defense were just flying around, set the tone early, even with me out there knowing my snap count. So that really means a lot. They just let me do catch-up. And the way they're playing right now, I can take my time because I think we go for a long run.
I love that. What were the emotions walking out of the tunnel for a new team?
I can't lie, it gave me chills. This environment, the first time, how they embraced me, the fans, this was one-on-one. This was really just a blessing in disguise. My man Jay Love told me it'd be this nice, and I think, nothing he could have said, I could imagine it'd be like this.
Jordan, I know you're glad to have this guy on your side.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And like you said, when the crowd went crazy when he ran out, man, that was a special moment. And, glad he's with us.
I'm sure he's glad to have you. You came out and you set the tone with those 2 touchdown drives. How important was it to start fast and be able to start the season this way against your North rival?
It was very important. That was a big goal for us coming in this game. Just start fast, start the season off fast, and that's exactly what we did, and got us off to a hot start there in that first half, so we got to keep building on that.
Congrats on the win. Quick turnaround. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A couple of impressive players indeed. Hey, folks, and a reminder, the action continues tonight in prime time. That's when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens visit Josh Allen and the Bills. Kickoff coming up at 8:20 p.m. Eastern. That's over on NBC.
You know, I think the one guy also we've not really talked about that much really is Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
Think about what Matt LaFleur, he's in his 7 seasons. He's gone to the playoffs 5 of his 6 years. He's transitioned from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love almost seamlessly. And I think he's kept...
Along with the drama that came along with Aaron Rodgers leaving.
Yes, and I think that in the pressure that comes with being the Green Bay Packer head coach.
That's true.
You know, all the things that go with that, the history of what this organization is all about. And he has done this in such a quiet, confident demeanor that just fits this community. And I just don't think he gets enough credit because I think this guy is one of the best coaches in the National Football League.
I absolutely agree with you. You know, he was my quarterback coach for 2 years in Atlanta, and I know him very well. I think he is quiet when it comes to being media, getting out there and kind of, he's not the one who's beating the drum to kind of talk about himself. But he had this team ready to play. He had this organization ready to perform in week 1 in a game that was big. And he's done that now consistently during his entire tenure here. I think he's a creative play caller, too.
Yeah.
I think, you know, often in that tree, you talk about a Kyle Shanahan or a Sean McVay or a Mike McDaniel. Matt LaFleur is very much a part of that and was from the start, even in those days in Washington. I think he's an incredibly creative play caller. I think he's a great quarterbacks coach. I think he knows how to coach young quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, whatever it may be. And I think we're going to see him get the best out of Jordan Love moving forward.
And he doesn't generalize his philosophy. It's not one blanket approach on every team. Each team is very unique. It's like a fingerprint. So he makes sure, depending on who he has at wide receiver, there are different skill sets, the tight ends and running backs. That's how I'm going to call this game. That's how I'm going to put together this game plan. And that's why I can appreciate his approach week in and week out. Coach, let me ask you something, because you talked about it being week 1, right? And how you can't really panic. It's not as good as you think it is. It's not as bad as you think it is. Let's just take these 2 teams, for example. You're going in and you're talking to these guys in the locker room. The Packers, after a big win at home, up against the division champs. And then a team like the Lions, taking an L, and things did not go your way. Let's not act like they were in it. To keep it real, the Green Bay Packers controlled this from the jump. What are you saying to both squads?
I mean, I think for Matt LaFleur, I think we saw it from Josh Jacobs. They talked about last year, those 2 games were 2 games that they could have easily have won. So it really does come down to a play here or a play there, and it's a matter of focus. It's a matter of being able to attention to detail, the little things that are going in, the preparation you have to have. Matt LaFleur, how many times did Jordan Love throw the ball? 22 times. Let's play to our strengths. Let's allow to keep that defense fresh. Let's make sure we run the football enough. And if I'm right now, Dan Campbell, hey, we got beat.
Yeah.
We're on top. We're going to be the barometer for everybody, the litmus test for every team that we play, because that's the responsibility we have. That's what we've created for ourselves, and that's embrace it. And so, yes, we didn't play very well, and I think you got to go back and look in the mirror. Let's just go back to who are we?
Yeah.
And where are we on offense? Okay, and defensively, we got to be able to stop the run, and we got to be able to get them into 3rd down situations. And we could not do that today.
Yeah.
And they had chances to get back into it. Like I said, that turnover at the end of the first half was huge. They score there, boom, the second half, it's a 1-score game. So, you know, it's a very fine line.
Yeah.
But that's a very fine line you have to walk, and I think you have to keep it in perspective.
All right, let's go from the Green Bay Packers to a former Green Bay Packer, Aaron Rodgers, who is now 1 touchdown pass shy of tying Brett Favre for 4th most passing TDs of all time. We got a chance to listen to him after the game talk about whether or not today's game was a revenge game.
It was nice to win, especially, you know, hearing some of the cat calls out there and the boo birds. You know, I'm not sensitive about that. I expected that, you know, I kind of like that. But there were probably people in the organization didn't think I could play anymore. So it was nice to remind those people that I still can.
It reminds me of Michael Jordan saying, "And I took that
And
personally."
I took it personally.
And I took that personally.
You think?
But let's talk about Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I mean, it's unbelievably impressive for him to be on that list with those four other quarterbacks, and for him to have the opportunity in the next week or coming weeks to tie and then eventually pass Brett Favre speaks to his longevity and what he's been doing. And I still think he's got a lot left in the tank.
No question about it. I'll just say this. I just know, in listening to the vibes and the tones that were coming out of the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room through the course of training camp, the degree of leadership that he brought was greater than a lot of people thought. Wow, you're around him. And this is an offense that really never had an identity since Ben Roethlisberger left, to be quite honest with you. It's been a defensive football team. And now for the first time on offense, they got a little bit of an identity. Okay, yes, it was not a clean game on both sides of the ball. But you saw the guys that they brought in be the difference in the game. Jalen Ramsey making the play he made
at the end of the game.
All of a sudden, you see Aaron Rodgers making the plays that he had to make.
DK Metcalf.
So DK Metcalf, he makes the plays that he did. So this is a football team that was infused with some people from the outside, taking the tradition from the inside, and let's just see where we go with this. And I think Michael will do a great job of tempering it. He'll keep it in perspective. And again, this is a football team. It's got a long way to go. But winning a game like this when you don't play your best and you do it kind of with an offense that they did it with, and then making a defensive play at the end, there's a lot of things that you can correct and you can say we're not even close to being where we need to be, but we did what we had to do when we had to do it.
Yeah, I had a ton of questions about what Aaron Rodgers would look like this year. In the offseason, I was thinking about his age, number one. Yeah. Then also the Achilles he had a couple of seasons ago. And what I was hearing from guys is that it's not just his leadership. Aaron Rodgers still got it. Yeah. And I would follow up, are you serious? Are you telling me Aaron Rodgers still can ball? No, Nate. 2 years after the Achilles, that's usually when a guy really starts feeling like himself again. Aaron Rodgers can still grip it and rip it. What we were missing the last couple of years, especially fresh out of the Achilles, was him negotiating the pocket like he used to. Yes. And once he starts doing that, along with his ability to really make any throw off of any pivot, that's when it's going to get dangerous for defense.
And I think it showed up today on that first touchdown pass, moving outside the pocket, finding Ben Veronica going across the field that way. If they can incorporate that into their offense and become a little bit better running the football, it could be dangerous.
So let me just bring this back to the venue that we're closing out here. This was an outstanding performance in a venue. They've been playing here since 1957. You were talking about Matt LaFleur. Great that you brought him up because he is symbolic of what the people in Green Bay are like. Yep. I've done a ton of games here. These people are low-key, salt-of-the-earth people. Yep. They hire well, as we saw with the young players, and they figured we don't have to brag. And this is in the smallest league market in professional sports, and they've got it done in a big way. Green Bay Packers here at Lambeau. Hey, folks, thank you so very much for joining us here. Great game, great scene. We look forward to traveling on the road a bit more because we have fun. And look here, I'm working with a bunch of professors. I'll make sure I'm sharp next time as well. We'll see you next week right here on CBS.
Enjoy the VMAs.